Hey guys, so today we're going to try and create something that sounds like it could be an early Linkin Park song. I've attempted this once a few months ago. It came out like this. But that took me like a few days. I've never challenged myself to just sit and write one of these straight off the top of my head. So that's what we're going to do today. So I have nothing written for this, no ideas in my head, but I'm going to use this template, which is basically, it looks like kind of a lot. But if you look at the colors, this is just the guitar sound, the bass sound, and the drum sound from the last one that I made. So as complicated as it looks, we've just got this left guitar track, which is 4 sounds. I just happened to get kind of complicated with it. They're all pretty much the same sound. And so we've basically got the same thing on the left and on the right. They're just slightly different. And then we've got the bass sound, which again, I just ended up using 5 different sounds. And then yeah, drums, we've got some hip hop drums and some metal drums basically. So that looks kind of complicated, but it isn't. I'm going to start with that and build from there. I'm in drop C tuning. Linkin Park super fans are going to tell me that's the wrong tuning. I know. I want to create something that just feels like it captures everything I love about early Linkin Park. So I kind of want it to be somewhere between the lower tunings they use and the higher ones. So let's jump in here. I want to start by figuring out a tempo and probably laying down some drums that I can write to on guitar. Right now we're at 104 beats per minute. I might just go with that. My favorite side of Linkin Park is definitely the whole like it's like they're all pretty much that tempo anyway, so let's roll with that for a minute. All right, let's get some drums down. So this is the sound I used in that other one. It's just like a hip hop kit that I put a bit crusher on. So we'll probably use that as an intro. Usually for a heavy Linkin Park type thing or just a new metal type thing, I tend to just go for like a big hip hop drum vibe and a big metal drum thing at the same time. It usually works. This kind of sounds very like old hip hop, but trust me, once we've layered this with some metal drums, you won't notice that there's hip-hop drums in there. That's one of the smart things about Linkin Park. It sounds like a hybrid between, you know, hip-hop and metal because it is, but you can't always put your finger on what it is because it just kind of sounds like rock. And it's smart little moves like this where you kind of put like a very powerful hip-hop drum kit in the background. Like, let's see if this works. So we've got our hip-hop drums. Sounds super basic, but now let's throw some like aggressive metal drums on top and see what. That's getting somewhere, but you know, it's very basic sounding, but it really establishes a groove with those syncopated kicks, which is something Linkin Park does a lot. Like, you know, there's always a strong 3, 4. You can always feel that beat, but there's a lot of kind of bouncing around the beat. So I'm trying to find a balance. And then I'm going to layer these metal drums, which hopefully will stick out a lot more. And you won't really notice the hip hop drums as much. They'll just kind of be something you feel. Is that what I did? Let's try right into it. So we'll put some kind of synth or something on that intro, but we'll figure that out later. Let's try and write something. Okay, I love that. Something that makes it Linkin Park. If I just go, that could be any band. That little downstrokes before you hit the is what tells you, you know, this is Linkin Park. This is like bouncy. It's just giving a little nod to the beat. There's the beat, and then there's the chord you're getting on the offbeat. Listen to that last chord. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck, that's hard to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 off the beat. Hopefully that makes sense. To me, that's what makes it Linkin Park. That's what makes it bounce. That's what makes it new metal. It's like you want to emphasize the beat so that it's like you know when to bang your head, but you want to also jump around the beat so that it feels like you want to bounce to it. Like, so I love this riff. Kind of want to keep going just to see if I can capture more of what I love about them. The harmonics, the add 9 chords. Let's see what else we can get. That could be something. Let's slow it down just a little. Let's go 101. All right, so it's between, and then we've got, let's use that as a bridge later on. It's gonna have to be this one. It's like, it's complicated. but it has everything I love about Linkin Park. It's got the minor second, it's got the chugs. So it's got that at the start, and then obviously you've got to have a harmonic, octaves, and then end on that add 9 power chord. That is everything Linkin Park does in one riff. It has to be that one. Let's go. On the right. I really hope someone doesn't comment like, you know, this is actually a Linkin Park song. It's a demo they didn't officially released from 2003. Oh, also, let's just jump into what this guitar tone is. Obviously, I can't break all of this down because there's so much, but let me quickly explain the plugins and some of the stuff that I'm doing here to get this sound. Oh, and quickly, I just want to jump in, guys, and say if you guys record stuff yourselves, you need beats, you need a producer, anything like that, hit me up. I'll have my email and my Instagram in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff, and thank you for watching. Back into this. So guitar-wise, yeah, this tone, I tend to be like a mid-range guy. I don't like modern metal tones, and I think they're too harsh, too high energy, and it just gives me a headache. But there's something about these kind of early 2000s tones where we had like, you know, the boss metal zone that everyone laughs at. There's something about that oversaturated digital distortion, thin kind of sound, not a lot of mids and bass. Usually I don't go for this sort of sound, but with Linkin Park you have to, and it just sounds so cool in this sort of mix. So that's the kind of general vibe I'm going for. I've got these 2 left and right main tracks, which as you will hear, they're almost like a Queens of the Stone Age type thing, but they're just like a really standard fuzzy rock tone. Sound kind of shit on their own, but they're just such a good bass. They're just like a basic, powerful sort of low end. On top of that, we have these other 3, which are just 3 very similar metal tones, which I'll quickly try and break down. So they sound like this. They're all using this amp. Got this overdrive, a very basic kind of tube screamer sounding thing, and then just a noise gate, some EQs, pulling out the low end and the mids. Yeah, nothing too fancy. It's just getting the right balance between a powerful low mid sort of area that's kind of in the background, and then this harsh, grating high end. That is one of the missing keys as well that people don't realize is a huge part of Linkin Park's early sound. They didn't just use standard metal guitar tones like System of a Down or, you know, the other bands at that time. It's almost like Deftones, because they use the Deftones chords as well, which is something people miss, like how I did at the end of this riff. It's just they'll chuck it in at the end of a riff, and it just gives you ooh, whoa, there's a bit of emotion there, and then it's gone. Just hit you with a little chord. So people don't realize they're using these, like, I call them Deftones chords, but yeah, because Deftones use them like, you know, they drown you in it. Whereas Linkin Park go Deftones, you know, so they don't give you time to notice it. You just kind of notice, oh, this, you know, this riff feels really like powerful but emotional. Because I feel like a lot of us, I know I'm ranting here, a lot of us look back and we're like, oh yeah, I liked Linkin Park a lot as a kid. Rock to bang your head to when you're an angry teenager. Like, no, this is ingenious. Mike Shinoda, genius. All right, I'll stop that rant for now. Let's keep going. In a second, we'll lay down the bass for that. But what I'm going to do is kind of leave like space for a verse here. In the verse, maybe we'll go back to the Bit Crush thing and do like a super emotional, typical Linkin Park thing. But yeah, for a chorus, because we've done this kind of heavy robot riff thing, we'll go for a chorus that has a little more vibe and a little less, you know, aggression. Quickly change the drums, change these hip hop drums as well. So let's find some nice chords. That's a chorus. I was gonna go for like some octaves and stuff, but I think that we'll find some octaves. That's a nice 4-chord progression to go from. Again, bringing in the Deftones chords, so we've got the big open power chord, and then, okay. What if one guitar does that and the other just does the chords? Maybe that'll work. It fucking works. Bro, so Linkin Park. Alright, bass time. Can almost hear Chester singing on that. So we'll go with an even more simple bass line. We'll just emphasize the rhythm pretty much. And this bass sound, again, it's like, yeah, it's 5 different ones because it's a bass sound that I've been working on for a long time, but it's nothing special. It just sounds like a pretty standard, well sculpted, kind of well EQ'd. Doesn't even sound that nice, it just works in a mix. But the main thing I'm using here, I'm using a lot of dark glass. Everyone knows this thing's great. This Cerberus bass amp, my favorite. That's a huge part of this sound. That's basically the bass tone. Any questions, ask me below. Alright, so then we'll go back after the chorus. Oh yeah. Verse again, whatever that is. And then back into chorus number 2. For me, what's crazy about this, those first 2 albums, to me, that is the pinnacle of rap and rock coming together, from Run DMC and Aerosmith doing Walk This Way to Korn and to, you know, Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park. To me, Linkin Park is the first, is the only band really where you don't kind of feel like there's any gimmick. There's no like, oh, now they're playing the rock riff, now he's doing the rapping. It's just like, this is fucking cool music. This is cool hard rock. But then if you get under the surface and dig into all this stuff, like I'm just scratching the surface right now. You'll see when I finish this, I'm gonna add tons more layers and stuff to this. Because that's what Linkin Park is. It's like they're like one of the most experimental bands, but you just don't realize because they've not got like jazz chords and shit. Like what they did on Hybrid Theory, to me, it's the pinnacle of everything that had been coming with rock and rap. So we'll build up to this bridge. Yeah, so this is where we have. That's gonna be fucking heavy. This is very much a skeleton of a song. What I want to do is put some kind of like keyboardy thing, but that's going to take some sound design. I'm going to use Vital Synth because I love it. I'm going to go away and bring you guys back in when it's done because this is going to be a big, you know, that is not the sound we're looking for. So I'm going to create something in here that kind of has that numb vibe, kind of brings like the synths into it a little bit. Oh, and that's maybe, I actually have a guitar effects sound if I can get the right notes. I'm going to throw something like that with this tone on that main riff, maybe some more leads in the chorus, and do that thing with the verse that we were on about, and then I'm going to bring you guys back in. So that stuff's all going to take a while. I'm going to work on that, bring you guys back in, show you what I've got. But right now, that's sounding fucking insane to me. This reminds me how much I love Linkin Park. This is going to be insane. I'm going to add a bunch of stuff. We haven't even added a DJ yet. I've got this audio. I just found this like somewhere on the internet. Like, I'm just going to chop this up and create something that sounds cool on top of that. You gotta have the scratching. So yeah, finishing touches, bells and whistles. I'm gonna put all that stuff on top. So I'll bring you guys back in when it's done, show you what I've got. All right guys, I finished it. It sounds insane. It's like one of the coolest things I've ever made. So I'll quickly show you what else I've added and then we'll just check out the full track. So the DJ thing, as you can see, I've chopped it all up and you'll hear that in a second in the track. And then pretty much the main difference is like the verse and the synth sounds. In the verses, it's like, it's all synths. There's not a whole lot going on, but like, it really didn't need a lot of layering. It was like, once I figured out the sounds, it sounded like Linkin Park. I don't want to spoil it before showing you the whole track, but just quickly, there's this like lead synth, which as I said is with Vital. I just like kind of messed around with it until it sounded like Linkin Park, and then just like random synth sounds. We've got like this electric piano thing playing some chords. But yeah, you'll hear it all in the mix. I'm really, really proud of this. It sounds insane. So yeah, I'm not going to keep talking. Let's check it out. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit me up, all of that stuff. Let's go.